If you know you want to be a doctor, but you're not quite sure what type of physician you want to be, go check out our Specialty Stories podcast. You can subscribe to the Specialty Stories podcast on your favorite device. This is the Old Pre-Meds podcast, session number 56. You're a non-traditional student entering the medical field on your terms. You may have had some hiccups along the way, but now you're ready to change course and go back and serve others as a physician. This podcast is here to help answer your questions and help educate you on your non-traditional journey to becoming a physician. And welcome to the Old Pre-Meds podcast, where we usually take questions directly from the Old Pre-Meds forum over at oldpremeds.org. My name is Dr. Ryan Gray. I am the director of the Non-Traditional Pre-Med and Medical Students Society. If you didn't know there was one, there is. Not quite sure what the society does other than have a cool name and have an amazing website over at oldpremeds.org. We are here to support you, the non-traditional student. Now, I mentioned that we usually take questions directly from the oldpremeds.org form. I'm going to break from that because there has been a huge announcement this past week that affects non-traditional students, I think more than traditional students. And that announcement came from the American Association of Colleges of Osteopathic Medicine. You may have heard that osteopathic medical schools are more favorable to non-traditional students. You may be a non-traditional student because you've struggled in the past. Maybe you knew you wanted to be a physician, but you did poorly in undergrad or at community college, and you gave up on your dream only to find that passion again and want to try to fulfill that dream and become a physician. And maybe you heard that as a non-traditional applicant with poor grades in the past, that applying to DO schools would be beneficial to you. And that has historically been the case because the AACOMAS application process, which is the American Association of Colleges of Osteopathic Medicine application system, the policies that they've had, they had a grade replacement policy for repeat coursework. And effective May 1st, 2017, immediately for this next application cycle, applying in 2017 to start school in 2018, AACOMAS is no longer replacing your old grade with your new grade. Now, this will affect a lot of you who are currently in school retaking classes because you were going to rely on this grade replacement policy. And I feel bad for you. I think that AACOM, the American Association of Colleges of Osteopathic Medicine, did you wrong. I think that if they were planning this policy change, that they should have given you a transition period so that students currently in school, in the process of repeating classes, would have 2 to 3 years to apply to use this grade replacement policy before it changed, so that students who were in your shoes 3 years ago, as they're starting off their journey, they know that grade replacements will not be a thing, and they can decide whether or not they can, if they want to go back and repeat courses. So it's going to be a huge thing, and I've had several students email me saying, this takes my GPA from a 3.6 down to a 2.6, what do I do? Before I talk about the silver lining, let me read the actual notice from AACOM. Now, you can go to AACOM's website, which is aacom.org, and they have a policy change notification that you can click on and read. But I'll read this for you. It says, notice, change to AACOMAS repeat coursework policy for 2017-2018 AACOMAS application cycle. In an effort to increase transparency, the American Association of Colleges of Osteopathic Medicine has approved the following change regarding the AACOMAS repeat coursework policy. Effective May 1st, 2017, AACOMAS will include all course attempts in the GPA calculation. This change applies to students matriculating into the 2018-2019 academic year, meaning you apply in 2017. In the event of multiple attempts of the same course, AACOMAS will no longer drop initial course attempts from the GPA calculation. Here's the silver lining that they have here. Osteopathic medical schools may continue recalculating and weighing applicant GPAs per their established admissions practices. The scope of this policy change is limited to the AACOMAS verified GPA calculation. The current AACOMAS repeat coursework policy drops the initial course attempts from the GPA calculation. In the upcoming 2017-2018 AACOMAS application cycle, applicants will continue to identify repeated courses during coursework entry, but they will no longer enter 0 credit hours for initial attempts. Credit hours for all attempts will be entered as they appear on the official transcript, and all grades will be averaged. The AACOMAS application instructions will be updated in advance of the 2017-2018 application cycle to reflect this change in policy. Effective May 1st, 2017. Now, this is important if you are reapplying because you didn't get in this past cycle. Applicants using the 2017-2018 application cycle reapplicant feature in AACOMAS for matriculation into the 2018-2019 academic year must adhere to the new policy. Therefore, AACOMAS will automatically update previously verified repeated coursework to ensure all applications adhere to the new policy. So if you applied in 2016 to start in 2017, but you didn't get into school, when you reapply this year or next year, your GPA will change according to the new policy, assuming you have repeated coursework. So, the one silver lining in here is that osteopathic medical schools can continue, they may continue, it says here, recalculating and weighing your GPA per established admissions practices. The one problem that I have with this is that it puts all of the work onto each of the medical schools, and they have a lot of work to do to begin with. And when they have filters in place, when you apply to medical school, their software, they can filter out based on a GPA cutoff, an MCAT cutoff. And if you're a student, like several that emailed me saying this is going to drop my GPA from a 3.6 to a 2.6, I can all but guarantee you that your 2.6 is going to be filtered out. And so now the onus is on you and the medical school. You have to advocate for yourself and speak up to the medical school to say, you might not have seen my application because my GPA is XYZ. If you take a look at it, you can see that I've repeated a bunch of courses, and over the course of the last couple years, my GPA is a 3.7, and whatever you're going to say. But then it's up to the school to dig into that, look into that, and decide whether or not they want to invite you for an interview. So it's a lot of extra work for the schools, as they're already swimming in thousands upon thousands of applications. So that is a huge change that's going to affect you. And so I wanted to talk about that. I think there's still hope if you're in this process and you were hoping to use this repeat coursework grade replacement policy. You just keep pushing forward, and it'll be what it'll be. You're going to have to advocate for yourself. You're going to have to make some extra phone calls and send some extra emails. You're just going to have to do the best you can do. And all the grades are going to be counted. So repeat those courses if you got a D or a C, repeat those courses, get an A. It's still going to help your GPA. It's just not going to help as much as before. So I hope that helps you figure out and understand this policy change. Again, I'm not a fan of the policy change. The way they implemented it, I would have been fine if they would have given you a ramp-up period for students that are already repeating courses right now with the hope of applying in a year or two. So that is what it is. We will see what comes of it as we move forward with the application cycle. I have a feeling there's going to be some pushback from people, possibly legal actions from people. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised. So keep an eye out on what's going on. And if this has affected you, keep your head up. Know that you just need to keep doing well. You're going to have to advocate for yourself. And if this is truly what you want to do, you'll make it work. Come back next week when we pick another question from the old pre-meds forum, and hopefully won't have any more news like this to share. Have a great week.